So the first thing that I did was I downloaded two different types of models of desk lamps. I import the first model, and then I decided I needed to separate the parts. So I went into the edit mode and hit P and selected to, I mean, chose to separate by loose parts. So once that was done, I decided to separate them into four different sections: the lower arm, the upper arm, the head, and the base. So I combined the loose parts to form like one mesh, and by pressing Control J. And another important thing now to do is to press Control A and apply all transforms for each of the separated mesh or separate part of the mesh. This is very important, or else they just start getting flung around, or once the retargeting is done. For the longest time, I do not understand why, but then once I did this it worked. So the next thing that I do is I add the armature, and then you have to always make sure to scale and manipulate the transform values of the bones that you add only in edit mode and not in object or in pose mode. So once you adjust and scale the values, you place it at the required position. I decided to add like four bones for each separate different mesh to manipulate each different mesh. So once the bones are arranged in such a way that they fit exactly in, or they are placed exactly onto the places that they are required to manipulate, I go into the object mode and I apply all transforms to the rig as well. And this is also one of the very important steps. So once that is done, I parent each bone to that particular part of the mesh. So the correct parenting method is to separate the lamp into rigid parts and then apply transforms to all meshes in armature. And then I have to parent each mesh to its controlling bone using Control P and bone. And I should not use keep transform or keep inverse or atomic weights. This is primarily because this is a mechanical object, or it's not a humanoid thing that we are rigging. It's not a walk cycle or anything that we are rigging. So because of that, this needs to be kept in mind. Because lamps are hard surface mechanical rigs and atomic weights and humanoid retargeting workflows are unsuitable. And each rigid part should be controlled only by one bone. So once that is done, I start animating it. It is important to make sure that each and every bone is animated and not just one bone, because once you actually retarget it, once you actually define the source and the target, the software will build a bone list, and it needs to know which bone should be matched with the other bone of the corresponding rig. So for this, the software will only recognize the bones that are animated. So because of this reason, all the bones need to be animated. Although it is possible to do it with only one rig or something, with only one bone or something, but still, this way it's much safer and much more efficient. So once that is done, I check the animation. I go to the object mode, go back to the keyframe 0, and then play it. We can see that there is some sort of a movement. Next I do is I import the other model. I wanted to make sure that the two models are different in most senses, that is in size as well as in direction and animation style, in order to see if the animation from one size or one this one can translate into another, or does it matter and stuff. So I follow the same steps with this model of lamp as well. I separate it into parts, the same head, upper arm, lower arm, and base. Similar to what I did with the first lamp, I applied transforms for different parts of this mesh as well, and applied all transforms to the rig as well, the armature as well, before animating. It's important to make sure that the applying of transforms is done before you animate anything, and that the manipulation of the rig is always done in edit mode and not in object or in post mode. I use a simple animation here just to see if it is possible, if it works, and just to make sure that there is some distinction between the both. Another important thing to keep in mind is that the source and the target, especially the source rig, needs to be animated in a very non-messy way. You should not try to manipulate the bones while you are actually animating, the midst of animating or anything. The rest positions need to be carefully positioned This plays a huge role when it comes to accurately retargeting the animation from one rig to another. Another easier way to do this would be to duplicate the rig of one lamp and just attach it to the other lamp and then manipulate whatever animation you want to do. Manipulate it such a way that you can, do make it do any animation that you want to do. But in situations when there are two separate rigs provided, retargeting would help rather than reanimation. So once the prepping and the animating of both the different lamps is done, I go to my Rococo tab and fix the source and target, rebuild bone list, make sure it is all matching, and then retarget it. We can see that it is working. We can see that even though the direction is different, it does follow the direction of the original rig that it is made to follow.